Third-party controllers usually get a real bad rap, but we're a far cry from the days of Mad Catz. Nowadays, controllers integrate all this weird sci-fi tech. You got rumble and touchpad things and haptic feedback, whatever the hell that is. So along with consoles getting much more expensive, controllers have also risen sky high. And with a lot of consoles not really having couch co-op integrated anymore, you're less and less likely to drop $70, $80, $90 on a new controller. And most of the time, you're really just paying for that name. Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, are you really paying $80 for Joy-Cons? That's where our buddies over at Old School come in. Old School is one of the many third-party manufacturers we carry at Nostalgic Video Games. But unlike Hyperkin and Retro Fighters, who usually redesign their controllers and update with modern sensibilities and quality of life, Old School opts to give you the most pure and original feel for their controllers. These are, in the most literal sense, clone controllers. Now they make controllers for pretty much every system, and for a lot of things like the N64, I prefer to use Old School's controllers because they feel exactly like original controllers and have the same sort of construction, but I'm not putting the wear and tear on an original controller. Here we've got the Dualshock 4 for the PlayStation 4. This is one of our best sellers at Nostalgic Video Games. You'd think PlayStation 4 controllers would be a bit cheaper now with the advent of the PlayStation 5, but no. Sony still sells them at like $70, $80 refurbished. So it is a whole lot more affordable to get a wireless third-party option like Old School here. Inside the packaging, you get the controller and an included micro USB cable. Always appreciate when they include these cables. Now, just like with any third-party controller, this is not going to feel dead on exactly like your original controller. It might play very similarly or even exactly, but the construction is still different materials and will undoubtedly feel a bit different. Something I really appreciate about the Dualshock 4 is these sort of rubberized grips here. They look cool bordered with that little blue line, feels like Tron. But it leads to a really comfortable grip and it feels just like a standard DualShock 4 controller. For size comparison, here is an original Sony DualShock 4, and they're pretty much exactly the same size. And unlike a lot of third-party controllers, these also feel pretty comparable in weight. Now the buttons are all slightly different shapes, and they have those legally ambiguous shapes on there since Sony decided to copyright a series of basic geometric shapes. But all these buttons, they feel great. They're not too clickety, and your fingers fit right on them just fine. I actually kind of prefer this D-pad. It's connected and has this sort of concave little dish in the middle that my thumb fits nicely in, where the actual DualShock 4 is split apart and, you know, just kind of hurts. If you've ever played a fighting game on the PS1, you know what I'm talking about. What's really cool about this is that they also have the integrated touchpad, just like the original. Now this is the one thing that does feel a little different. It feels a little more clicketier. Can you hear that? That's Old School. That's Sony. This touchpad works fine, but I never really use the touchpad. It's really just for the button press in certain games, and it works just fine. Now this doesn't have the flashlight on the front, but it does have a little indicator light right under that touchpad. And these sync just like standard DualShock 4s by plugging in that included micro USB cable right to your console, and it syncs automatically. This controller also has a 3.5mm headphone jack. The Dualshock 4 from Old School is a fantastic budget option when shopping for an extra PS4 controller. They come in a bunch of different colors and are available in our store, Nostalgic Video Games. If this video helped you out or you found it entertaining, go ahead and give us a like and subscribe. It goes a long way to show us your support. We'll have some links to where you are able to purchase these online in the description below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, yes.